Hello! Today we're going to be talking to you about two of our most influential YouTube keto and intermittent fasting channels.
Welcome to the Liz and Skatz channel.
I'm Liz and I'm a clinical holistic therapist, yoga and meditation teacher.
And I'm Skatz, and I'm a musician and music therapist with type 2 diabetes. If you want to follow our journey to beat my diabetes, then do this. Subscribe, and click on the bell. So first of all, a bit of background. How did we get started on this journey?
Yes, well, in April of this year, during the lockdown, I stepped on the scales for the first time in a long time, and I was 195.3 pounds. I'm not sure what that is in kilos. We'll probably stick that up there somewhere.
Up right there.
Whee! Yeah, that's nearly 14 stone for those of you who live in the UK and Ireland, which is too much. I was too much. I couldn't fit into any of my clothes. I was getting really fed up. So I started looking on YouTube, fabulous YouTube, to see what I could do about it without doing myself some harm, and I wanted to do it safely and with nutrition rather than fads and silly things that you can find. So I started checking out some YouTube channels. The first one that I found was Dr. Sten Ekberg.
Very good.
And he is Swedish-American, ex-decathlete, I believe.
Olympian.
He's an Olympian. He is also a holistic doctor, I should say. So I started watching him, and because I'm a bit of a science nerd, I really wanted to know the science behind it all. And so that's where we started. And then I sent him a link.
And yes, I started looking at Dr. Sten as well. And at the same time, well, actually just before that, I'd been told by my doctor that I needed to start on medication for type 2 diabetes. I started on the medication and it didn't agree with me, as we've talked about in previous videos.
Awful. What
yeah,
actually?
it's terrible.
I was
getting, well, I hope none of you have just eaten, but it was diarrhea, awful diarrhea, and I just didn't feel like myself either. There was strange wooziness going on as well.
Yeah.
I said I don't want to be like this, and I got in touch with the diabetes nurse. She said stop taking it and leave it for a few days and maybe start taking half of the dose, by which time I'd started to watch Dr. Sten videos, and Liz and I had talked a great deal about it and decided that we were going to cure it with, or at least handle the diabetes with diet. Then we discovered that actually it's not just about the diabetes. Diabetes is just a series of symptoms. We decided that we could actually stop those symptoms, and it was all about insulin resistance, wasn't it?
Yeah, turns out from many studies that the majority of people in the Western world are to some extent insulin resistant. So this is where our journey began. I started off doing intermittent fasting. It was very difficult to start off with because I was still eating complex carbohydrates like breads, pasta. It became very, very difficult. So the intermittent fasting was fantastic. However, and I did start losing weight. However, then we started to investigate the ketogenic diet. Dr. Sten was extremely eloquent on this subject. Very clear what you can and what you can't eat, how you should go about it, and the things that you can do to make yourself feel good, and how to prepare as well.
And he's done an awful lot of videos about that. And it wasn't just him that we looked at. We obviously did a lot of research and checked up on what he was saying. And it was just that he was the most eloquent and the most detailed as well. And we like details, don't we?
We do. We're a bit nerdy like that. But that's fine. And I'm happy with that. Because it just basically means that if anybody asks us any questions anytime, we can just go and we can just reel it off what we need to say to people. There's a lot of people who say, on intermittent fasting, don't you get hungry? Or, aren't you starving? Somebody yesterday, we were in a shop delivering Skatz's old clothes.
Yes, 2 big boxes of old clothes that don't fit me anymore.
Yeah, he's never done that. No. Never done that.
Always kept them.
He's lost weight before and just kept them in the back of the cupboard just in case. So we're good now. So that was a huge milestone yesterday, and we were talking to the woman in the shop about what we were doing because she was asking why. She said, don't you get hungry? When I was just doing intermittent fasting, I did get hungry. Mm-hmm. But now we don't, because we're ketogenic.
Yeah. It's funny, my stomach's just rumbled. I don't know if you heard that on the microphone. But...
Yeah, possibly.
So, who else has been an influence on us on YouTube with regard to keto and intermittent fasting?
Oh, well, there are many of them out there, let me tell you, but our second most influential guy is Dr. Eric Berg. Now, he is a medical doctor, but he not only specialises in the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting, but also a broad spectrum of anatomy and physiology and nutrition. So he will not only mention about those subjects, but also about vitamins and other sort of things going on in your body, like minerals and the way that exercise helps you to lose weight or to stay fit and healthy as well.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So an excellent guy, both of them very, very influential. Because we're a bit science nerdy, we do like to know the science behind things. So it does actually, when somebody starts talking to you very plainly and simply about how everything works in your body, it influences me particularly to want to go out and read more scientific evidence and read more scientific studies, which we have. And so it's just led to the inevitable conclusion that we're on the right track with keto and intermittent fasting.
Yeah. So that's it for today's video.
Yeah.
Really, it's just a short one to give you some recommendations. Please leave your recommendations in the comments below.
Anybody, we'd love to know anybody that's really influencing you in your lifestyle, whether it be for weight loss or just healthy diet. We'd love to hear from you too.
And thank you for subscribing and clicking on the bell. And we will see you on the next video. Bye for now.